Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are tearing into a stack of insights, all focused on something that, well, it impacts every single day of your life. We're talking about lasting oral vitality. Most of us, we operate under this assumption that a healthy mouth is simply a matter of 2 minutes of brushing twice a day. But the research we've synthesized for this deep dive makes it crystal clear that your smile is really the sum of small, consistent lifestyle habits. We're diving into practical changes you can start today that go far beyond the bathroom mirror.
That's absolutely right. And for those of you who want that quick, thorough knowledge, the aha moments without all the info overload, our mission here is to synthesize these actionable principles. What's truly fascinating in this body of work is how it completely reframes the issue. Oral health isn't isolated. It's intrinsically linked to your whole body. We're talking digestion, stress levels, even the quality of your sleep. It moves the conversation from just mechanical cleaning to internal ecosystem management. We're going to unpack the 6 core areas that shape this ecosystem, focusing on the essential mechanics and some of those surprising hidden connections.
Okay, let's unpack this then, starting with the absolute foundation, yet it's the simplest habit people often ignore or just misunderstand the importance of. Hydration. We all know we should drink water, but why is it such a critical defense system for the mouth specifically?
Hydration is, it's non-negotiable. It's what directly powers your mouth's first line of defense.
Which is saliva.
Exactly, saliva. And water performs, 3 major constant functions in that oral environment. First, there's the simple mechanics. Water just washes away those lingering food particles and sugars after you eat. It stops them from feeding harmful bacteria.
So it's like a constant tiny rinse cycle built right into our day.
Precisely. But the second function, and this is perhaps the most crucial, it relates to acid neutralization. See, bacteria feast on sugar, and they produce acid as a byproduct. This is what we call the acid attack phase. It's what erodes enamel. Saliva is full of minerals and bicarbonates, and it acts as this natural buffer to neutralize those acids. But you need constant hydration for your body to produce enough of it.
And what happens if we don't drink enough water?
Well, if you get dehydrated, saliva production drops dramatically. And that creates a dry, hostile environment where these odor-causing bacteria and plaque-forming colonies can just seize control. Without that constant buffering, your enamel is under constant siege. And that leads directly to irritation, sensitivity, and, let's be frank, persistent bad breath.
The knowledge is simple, but I guess the implementation requires some real mindfulness.
It does. The core shift here is making hydration a persistent habit. You just sip water consistently throughout the day and pay extra attention after drinks like coffee or right after a meal. The research suggests this is a really low-effort, high-impact habit.
Okay, but I have to challenge something I saw in the source material. It suggested adding a slice of lemon or cucumber to water. If the goal is neutralizing acid, isn't citrus highly acidic? Isn't that bad for enamel? Does the guide address that trade-off?
That's a really sharp question, and it highlights a critical nuance. While lemon juice is acidic, the goal here is encouraging high-volume water consumption over drinking sugary, acidic sodas or juices. So the recommendation is to use small quantities, like a single slice of lemon, to encourage that consistent hydration. And it stresses this has to be without added sugar. The sheer volume of water you're drinking and the rinsing action it provides generally outweighs the minor acidity from the flavoring, especially when you compare it to the alternative.
That distinction makes a lot more sense. Okay, moving from liquids to solids, diet. The mouth is the entry point, so what we eat matters immensely, not just for our waistline, but for our oral defenses. What are the key smile-friendly foods we should be looking for?
The diet section is highly strategic. We're looking for foods that do 2 things: perform mechanical cleaning and strengthen internal structures.
Like little natural scrubbing brushes.
Precisely. The guides detail 3 key inclusions. First, you have your crunchy fruits and veggies. Think apples, carrots, celery. Their high fiber content makes you chew more, which stimulates saliva flow, and it helps scrub the surface of the teeth. They are nature's toothbrushes. Second, you need structural support, so calcium-rich foods. Things like specific nuts, seeds, and fortified dairy alternatives. These are essential for strengthening your enamel and replacing minerals lost during those acid attacks. You're literally feeding your teeth the building blocks they need.
And the third one, that's about the ecosystem support, the microbiome helpers.
Correct. So foods that support the internal ecosystem. We're talking probiotic supporting foods, like fermented options, natural yogurt, kefir. These promote a better bacterial balance right at the start of the whole digestive process.
On the flip side, we all know sugar is the enemy, but the sources say that how we consume it matters just as much as how much. So what should we limit or change about our patterns?
This is such a crucial area of control. You have to limit the sticky sugars and really frequent snacking. Every time you eat a snack, you kick off a new acid attack phase. So if you graze all day, your teeth just never get a break.
And the demineralization just keeps going.
It never stops. But the biggest revelation for a lot of people is the danger of acidic drinks that are consumed slowly.
So that large soda I might sip on all afternoon is actually worse than drinking it in 10 minutes.
Exponentially worse. Sipping that soda or coffee or juice over an hour ensures your enamel is just continuously bathing in acid. It is far more damaging than drinking it quickly with a meal and then rinsing with plain water right after. The guides also heavily warn against late-night snacking without brushing because when you sleep, saliva flow almost stops completely. That leaves sugar just sitting on your teeth with zero defense for 8 hours.
I know I'm guilty of that occasional 11 p.m. fridge raid, so the key here is strategic consumption then.
Absolutely. The goal is to minimize the time that damaging elements are sitting on the enamel. Pair sugary or acidic foods with meals, don't eat them alone, and immediately rinse your mouth with water afterward. That strategic timing gives your mouth a fighting chance.
All right, moving on to section 2, upgrading the routine. Most people say they brush twice a day, but the stats show many still struggle with plaque and gum issues, and this is where it gets really interesting. The guide emphasizes how we brush, not just how often.
And I was surprised when I read that the research focused so heavily on gentle brushing.
That feels totally counterintuitive, right? I mean, if I want something clean, I scrub it harder.
That's what we all think, but the sources are clear. Aggressive force is the enemy. Brushing must be gentle, and for a full 2 minutes. If you scrub too hard, you're not removing plaque more efficiently. You're irritating the gums, potentially causing them to recede. And that leads to sensitivity and eventually compromises the whole structure of the tooth.
So the technique is vital.
It is. You have to angle the brush toward the gum line to clean where bacteria hide. Think of it less as scrubbing and more as sweeping. And the 2 minutes isn't for force, it's for coverage. You need time to gently clean all 4 quadrants of your mouth.
So the core shift here, for everyone listening, is simple, but a little counterintuitive. Slow down. Gentle, thorough cleaning beats brute force every single time.
Exactly. Slow down, focus on the gum line, and use a soft touch. If you speed up, you miss spots. If you scrub too hard, you injure the protective tissue.
Now let's talk about the forgotten areas, the tongue and gums. They're huge microbial breeding grounds that contribute to odor and inflammation.
People often neglect these areas entirely. That's a huge mistake.
Yeah.
The tongue alone hosts millions of bacteria. The guide suggests 2 simple additions for a dramatic improvement. First, use a tongue scraper once a day. This is key because bacteria get lodged deep in the papillae, and a toothbrush just doesn't lift that dense biofilm effectively. A scraper physically lifts it off.
That's amazing. So just 10 extra seconds of scraping can dramatically improve breath freshness. That's a great return on investment for the morning.
It really is. The second addition is a gentle gum massage while brushing. This helps circulation and removes surface bacteria without abrasion. And finally, a clear warning about mouthwash. The research strongly advises avoiding the ones with alcohol.
Why is that? I thought they were designed to kill bacteria.
They are, but they tend to dry the mouth out severely. And remember, dry mouth is precisely what we're trying to prevent. Alcohol-based rinses sabotage that natural defense system by reducing saliva, which can actually worsen the environment for bacterial growth in the long run.
Okay, section 3 brings us to the hidden connections. The lifestyle factors most people just don't associate with their dentist. This raises a big question. Why is stress management included in a guide to oral vitality?
It's because the body is one system. When you're under chronic stress, your nervous system is in fight or flight mode. This means resources are diverted away from non-essential functions, and one of the first things to decrease is saliva production. So you get chronic dry mouth, leaving you defenseless.
And stress also has a physical manifestation.
It does. It often leads to bruxism, that's involuntary clenching or grinding of the teeth, usually while you're asleep. And bruxism can be incredibly destructive. It causes jaw pain, headaches, and most critically, it wears down enamel and can even lead to cracked teeth. Stress directly compromises the physical integrity of your smile.
That puts stress into a whole new category of threat. And what about sleep? We know poor sleep makes us tired, but how does it specifically hurt our oral tissues?
Poor sleep inhibits the body's natural repair and recovery processes. Think of sleep as your mouth's nightly maintenance crew. Every day, your gums and oral tissues get micro damage from bacteria, from heat, from chewing. They need that deep, restorative sleep time to heal inflammation and regenerate cells. If you're stressed and not sleeping well, you are short-circuiting that crucial nightly maintenance.
So the actionable advice combines the two. A structured wind-down routine in the evening is key, not just for mental health, but for dental preservation.
Precisely. The advice is to wind down before bed, reduce screen time, decompress, and strictly avoid that late-night snacking. That calm, supported routine ensures you get quality sleep, which in turn allows the body to actively repair those tissues when saliva flow is naturally at its lowest.
So we've established that brushing and flossing are necessary, but they're insufficient. Even with great habits, modern diets, stress, environmental factors, they all constantly disrupt the delicate balance of the oral microbiome.
This is the crux of the problem. If that ecosystem is imbalanced, if the bad guys outnumber the good guys, then mechanical cleaning can only do so much. The mouth needs internal support. And this is where the guide shifts to the concept of supporting the mouth from the inside out. You can't just scrape the weeds, you need to nourish the garden.
Okay, so if the problem is a constantly compromised internal ecosystem, how do we address that imbalance?
The sources introduce the idea of targeted support, positioning specific solutions as a natural fit. They highlight the role of supporting beneficial oral bacteria with targeted probiotics, which is where something like Adem Naturals ProvaDent would fit into the daily routine. Its stated function is to help restore and support that microbial balance.
I see.
It's detailed as a daily upgrade that works to maintain fresher breath by competing with those odor-causing organisms. And it promotes healthier gums by maintaining a balanced environment where inflammation is naturally reduced. It's all about systemic support, not temporary masking.
So rather than a temporary fix like a harsh mouthwash, the emphasis is on working with the body's natural microbial processes.
That's the core shift. It works with your body's natural defenses instead of fighting against them. It's presented as an easy addition, just adding it to your routine like brushing or flossing to reinforce that internal balance. It makes your mouth more resilient to all those stresses and acid attacks of modern life.
Let's pull all these small choices together now into a realistic, sustainable routine. This is what consistency looks like when applied throughout the entire 24-hour cycle.
We can break the day into 3 simple shifts. In the morning, the routine is gentle cleaning. You take that proactive microbiome support like ProvaDent, and then you immediately start drinking water to kickstart saliva production.
And maintaining that structure during the day is the continuous protective layer.
Yes. During the day, the focus is on passive maintenance. You stay hydrated consistently, you choose those smile-friendly crunchy foods, and you rinse your mouth with water after any non-water drink or food. You just never let the acids linger.
And the evening becomes the major cleanup and repair window.
The evening is comprehensive. You brush and floss thoroughly. That's 2 full minutes, gentle sweep. You clean your tongue, that quick 10-second scrape. And then, crucially, you start your wind-down routine for quality, restorative sleep. The entire framework, you see, it avoids the extremes. It just prioritizes consistent, easy support for your mouth's natural ecosystem.
And that's really the core message here, isn't it? A healthy, confident smile isn't some miraculous outcome of expensive procedures. It's built through these small choices, repeated daily. It's comforting to know that simple adjustments can yield such profound, lasting results.
If we connect all this to the bigger picture, the entire framework shifts the focus. It moves away from purely mechanical cleaning, just scrubbing away a problem, to viewing the mouth as an active, balanced, responsive ecosystem. This understanding suggests that lasting health and confidence are rooted in, well, in supporting the body's natural processes, rather than constantly fighting them with harsh chemicals or brute force.
The source materials show that your smile truly reflects your lifestyle. So the provocative thought to consider is this. If simple choices like hydration, diet timing, and managing stress have such direct physical manifestations in your oral health, where else in your life, in your energy levels, your digestion, your cognitive function, are you overlooking small, easy-to-implement habits that could lead to huge, comprehensive health improvements? Something to mull over until our next deep dive.